20, you know, just give yourself every chance you possibly can. Look as far ahead and as far as behind as you possibly can at all points. You have the added benefit of not having to look at a speedo until you get down to this end to divert that attention onto the road, which is a great benefit. Use your mirrors, shift your shoulder. Right, intermediate guide for the one-way mountain. There's your first point of information, the big matrix sign in Parliament Square. Now you always want to give yourself the best chance you can on the roads, even more so on the mountain, so fill yourself with as much information as possible. We've got matrix signs, there's webcams up top, I'll leave those links in the description down below. There's a nice handy app that shows you all of the matrix signs, so you can see roughly what's going on, or at least what they're going to tell you what's going on, mainly if it's closed. You don't want to make the massive journey on what is now a heavily restricted track to find out that it's closed. Watch out for supercar drivers, because they tend to not be very quick and they do stupid things. Cars are pretty though. Right, so as we come up now through White Gates, we're still in a 30 limit and we will reach the hairpin. Now the hairpin, if you haven't already, go and see Charlie's aka IOM Rides beginner's guide, because it's got some fantastic foundation points that it's easy to sort of overlook, and one of them is that coppers always sit on the hairpin. I know a few people that have been done for speeding coming up here because they get excited too early, and well, if you're doing more than the limit up here, you deserve to be pulled, and it's not going to be ideal. Another foundation point that I think is very, very important, go and have a sighting run over first. If you haven't been over the mountain before, just go over for a gentle one, go and see it, because I can tell you, it looks extremely different from a helicopter. There's bumps and stuff you might not know about. Just go and have a good ride over. And then of course, cruise back on the coast road if you want, and deal with it. So up to past Gooseneck now, we'll find that it is a 50 limit, and if you're coming over, as many people recommend, you know, go do the early morning ride. There's a couple of little points that might catch you out. Now all the way up here, use your bloody mirrors. I cannot sort of say it anymore. Use your mirrors, use your mirrors, use your mirrors. Expect that at any point someone's going to come up behind you at 180 miles an hour. That can be from not in your mirrors to on your shoulder in a second. So just be very, very aware of that. So like I say, I've got this bike behind me, so he might try and do something. What I find is with a lot of the sort of people that come over, they tend to ignore this 50 up here, and they just tend to sort of go for it. Be prepared for that. Now all the way across the mountain, bias yourself over to the left. Now people say the right hand lane is just an overtaking lane. Yeah, I mean, when it's two-way, people will still cut across into the other lane. Again, use your mirrors, use your mirrors, use your mirrors. Right, now as we come up here, we've got this little left-hander before Gooseneck. If it's rained the night before, there'll be some runoff going the other way. And then we come into Gooseneck, which is often a place where people tuck the front end, especially if you go in and cut sort of on the racing line, because it drops away a little bit. But now we get up into the proper bit, ready for unrestricted. Check nothing's there, and we'll give it a go. I can't make my mind if I want the visor locked or not. Now, across this whole video, what I'm going to do is show you where you can look. So over that hedge there, I can see around the corner. There's lots of places like that on the Isle of Man mountain. So if you see a yellow arrow, look round the corner. If you are going to cross into that lane at any point, use your mirrors, check your shoulder. Real simple. Again, look over there, you can see round the corners. And the Guthrie's coming through here. Most people go through here on the line. There's actually a bump right there that can play a little bit. Use your mirrors, check your shoulder. Do not cut and cross that van like this fella's just done. Bloody idiot. Now onto the mile. The mile is very open, you can see it all, which is a great benefit. Use your mirrors, check your shoulder. Some good pace on him. See, this is what you find on the mountain. There's always some people out to have a play. My mirror set slightly downwards and you can actually see better when you're in tuck, which is ideal, isn't it? Come through here, most people tend to think it's restricted. I don't believe it is. They just got cones and it's the next place that coppers will come and have a sit. There they are, high vis. You can see them. If you don't, you're an idiot. Give them a wave because they love it. Now through here onto Brandywell, this is tighter than people expect and it usually holds a bit of water, so just be careful as you come through there. Again, another place for police to sit. Now Dukes, this is also a common one that people get caught out on. It's actually more than one corner and it's a bit tighter, but it gives you the vantage point of going down and seeing all the way down to 33rd. Which is what everyone loves, don't they? So as you can see, you really don't need to be over there. What's this guy doing? I mean, you don't need to be using all the road at that point. So if you do, I mean, there's no problem. I've got no issue with you using that lane if you're not overtaking, as long as nothing's coming up behind you. Again, mirrors, 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 check your shoulder. And that's it. Not really much information added on to Charlie's video, because he covered most of the points. It's just, I think, handy to see it a bit more at pace. I always find I get a bit lost on the mountain in the fog, because But when you're doing it at a different pace, corners come out of nowhere, you know, you kind of lose where you are. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you could hear me. Just follow those yellow arrows to look as far ahead as you possibly can. You know, if you can see something going into veranda at 50 mile an hour, 100 meters ahead of you, then be aware to catch it halfway around. If you're entering at 120, you know, just give yourself every chance you possibly can. Look as far ahead and as far as behind as you possibly can at all points. You have the added benefit of not having to look at a speedo until you get down to this end to divert that attention onto the road. That's me for the morning now. I'm on my way to work. That might have been the world's fastest commute. But anyway, you want any information, give me a shout. If you haven't already subscribed, because we've got lots of TT videos coming. And as always, have a fantastic day. Okay, you wait then.